to raise property assessment values. The Newton County assessor says not so fast. Details behind the difference. And visitors to the Cherokee County Fair take a trip back in time. KOIM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, a Newton County official pushes back against a state-recommended increase in property assessment rates. Plus, thanks to the governor, Missouri has a new weapon in the fight against invasive plant species, and the opening of a 25-year-old time capsule at the Cherokee County Fair reveals memories of a lost school.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A high-speed chase through Pittsburgh ends with a crash and arrest after a domestic disturbance call early this morning. This is KOIM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Police responded to a report near the intersection of East 7th and North Elm, where a man fled in a car. The pursuit took officers east to Joplin Street and then headed south, covering several blocks before ending at the National Mini Storage Facility. There, the suspect crashed into a fence and a storage building. After a brief struggle, officers took him into custody. Paramedics treated the suspect before transporting him to the hospital. A search of the vehicle uncovered cocaine and other illegal drugs. Investigators learned the suspect had allegedly battered and threatened 2 women prior to the chase. He now faces multiple felony and misdemeanor charges and is currently in the Crawford County Jail without bond. Let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney now for a first look at the weather.
Well, we do have storms moving into the area later on tonight, well after midnight. Now you can see, if you take a look, our front's still just sitting out near Kansas City. Some storms have been sitting just along that front for most of the afternoon, but we are not expecting anything in our area until about 3 to 4 a.m. on Thursday morning. So you can see around 2 starting to see our chances inch up just a little bit. By 4 a.m. we're at a 20% chance, so just moving into the area. And then 6 to about 10 a.m. those storms linger into our northern and central counties. Now that sticks around, but we have a second round coming in the afternoon that we're going to take a look at coming up shortly.
See you soon. The Newton County assessor is at odds with the state tax commission over the state's request to raise property assessment values. County Assessor Cheryl Perkins says she's not signing a letter of understanding asking her office to raise county property tax valuations by 12%. That's the percentage requested by the commission for the county to become compliant with state law, which says assessments have to be within 90 to 110% of market value. Newton County is currently at 77%. Jasper County has to make a similar adjustment this year, but the Newton County assessor says she's refusing to raise them by that much.
And they said, well, you just put a 12% straight across the county on everybody. And I said, no, I'm not doing that. My county can't afford it. So I withstood my ground, but on the same token, I'm a lucky assessor because I could do it.
Last month, the State Tax Commission voted to withhold 2026 assessment maintenance funds from Newton County, more than $108,000. KOIM has reached out to the Missouri State Tax Commission for comment. We have not received a response. Boots hit the ground in Joplin as experts and volunteers at Wildcat Glades began pulling up 2 invasive species, the Sericea and winter creeper. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe signed a new bill this week to combat the proliferation of 6 invasive plants in the Show Me State. Local experts say it's a much-needed service to protect the native landscape.
Creeper is best if it's just hand-pulled. It does not respond well to burning, and it's too thick to really spray without damaging a lot of other plants, to spray with an herbicide.
That law takes effect on August 28th. The Bourbon County Kansas Fair kicked off today in Fort Scott. The annual event gives agricultural competitors a chance to showcase their livestock in various categories such as dairy and beef cattle. The fair also offers plenty of food, fun, and games. One fairgoer's favorite part, the animals.
Interacting with the animals and going to shows. Goats are always just playful and and just so cute.
The theme for this year's fair is Create a Fairy Tale. Veteran job seekers in the Sunflower State might be in luck. Kansas Works is hosting a Hiring a Veteran Day virtual job fair. While the job fair is open to all job seekers, it's primarily aimed at veterans making the transition to civilian careers. The virtual event will take place Friday, July 25th from 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Head over to KOAMnewsnow.com to find out more information. After 25 years, the Green Lawn Time Capsule was opened tonight at the Cherokee County Fair, revealing memories of a lost school. It was buried in 2000. The capsule's outside reads Y2K Time Capsule, standing for, in this case, Yes to Kids, with instructions to open this year. Inside, memories like letters from students and teachers and symbols of the time like a Pikachu keychain and a Pokemon card, all celebrating a school that closed 14 years after the capsule's burial. Green Lawn Elementary was built in 1968. The rural school received charter status in 1998 and started busing in students from other areas for its technology-focused education. But a change in state funding ended that, and by its closure in 2014, only 37 students attended grades K through 5. The time capsule's contents will be on display at the Columbus School Board office throughout July for everyone to explore. Experts issue a warning about the dangers of medical tourism for weight loss. That story's coming up, but up first, some kids in McDonald County get a hands-on lesson when they plug into a robotics camp. The McDonald County Robotics Camp is underway at the McDonald County High School. The camp is now in its second year and it's doubled in size. KOAM's Ty Park shows us how the kids are using robots to learn coding and much more.
It's good for your mind to challenge yourself and learn new things. So I joined thinking that I would be able to do that.
Stetton Moffitt is challenging himself in the McDonald County Robotics Camp. Kids are divided into 3 groups. The first 2 designed for younger children like Moffitt who are learning basic coding and construction.
And in each of the groups, they start to do something that's a little bit more challenging. So with mine, we give them robots that are already just one robot. You can touch buttons on it to make it go or stop or whatever you want it to do. But you can also code it to do what you want it to do. And then they build things and add on to it. But then once you go to the next group up, they are building their own robots that they use remote controls to use or code their own robots to move. And then in the step up past that, they're building with like real metal material and doing much larger scale robots.
But for some kids, building and coding a robot can be stressful.
When you build one, you feel like happy and you think that like you have anxiety, like is it going to work or is it going to fail? So when I'm building it, I just think of the bright side and I think that it'll work.
So our main goal is to introduce STEM to children young. We were noticing that in McDonald County especially and in districts even around us, kids weren't getting a hands-on STEM lesson until they got to high school and had the choice to take it.
The camp is more than just lines of ones and zeros.
A lot of people might like it because you get to build stuff. It's really fun here, and all the teachers are really nice, and I like it. I think kids will have a lot of fun, even adults, because this is a very fun thing for any age, because you just get to build, and like you can build a lot of stuff, and there's no really limit to what you can build. And I think a lot of people enjoy that.
And for kids like Moffitt who enjoy the opportunity to grow and learn through STEM. In McDonald County, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
You can check out those student-made robots at the McDonald County Fair, which starts tomorrow. Lindsay returns next with a complete look at your forecast. And a little bit later, the Joplin Outlaws hit the diamond for a doubleheader this evening against Fort Smith. Sports Director Ryan Blank has the highlights.
But hurry, the 30th anniversary sale at Denver Mattress ends soon.
thunderstorm chances return for the 4 states on Thursday, and then we go back to the heat. But let's start with thunderstorm chances. Let's take a look at our SPC outlooks. We're only in a level 1 out of 5. There's a marginal risk there for severe weather. Mainly just seeing isolated storm chances throughout the day on Thursday, starting around 3 to 4 a.m. And again, really only making it to our central counties before it starts to taper off. But we're going to break all of that down now. Currently, the cold front that's going to be bringing our thunderstorm chances on Thursday is still just sitting up north in Kansas City. So we have this front, stationary front, so meaning it's not moving, hasn't been moving for the last several hours, but there are still thunderstorms developing along that front. Now, as it gets into our area, we are going to see a little bit more of a chance of that moving slowly, causing us to have some rain and flooding risks. But for most of the afternoon, we had these clear skies. You can see taking a look downtown Joplin, Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. But we're jumping into these thunderstorm chances. Now, we're getting into July, so our main risk are going to be downburst wind gusts, and we've been talking about those a lot. So we do have this isolated wind threat for those storms, but downburst winds, they push the winds out ahead of the storm, so we get this nice gust front, gusting winds 40, 50, even pushing up to 60 miles per hour, and that could be just as damaging as any tornado, though we're not expecting any tornado or hail risk with this. So now taking a look, midnight, still got that southerly winds, mainly clear skies out there. Clouds start to push in around 3 a.m. and then you can see how those storms, again, slowly moving in. So this front is near stationary by the time it makes it into our area. It's just very slow. Storms develop along it. Now you can see where our front is. Northerly winds up to Yates Center, up to Nevada, Fort Scott, Butler, Mound City, but then ahead of this system, we got those southerly winds. So our front's just sitting right there in our central counties. This is 8 a.m. on Thursday. Nevada, Fort Scott, Yates Center, Chanute, Parsons, all the way down to Independence, getting some of those storms. They'll continue to push into our central counties, but do taper off. However, we got that second round coming in at 4:30 along the same cold front that's just been sitting there, but due to surface heating, we're going to get a couple more of these pop-up thunderstorms. Could be strong to low-grade severe for a couple of hours in the afternoon. Then we switch gears on Friday back to the heat. So our heat index Friday into the low 100s, 100 in Joplin, 105 in Independence, Fredonia. Saturday, though, things really start to ramp up. 103 heat index in Joplin, 106 in Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, 105 in Girard. So we are likely going to see a couple of heat advisories be issued on Saturday, if not Friday. Now, to actual temperatures are going to be in the mid-90s Saturday and Sunday, but we see that heat remain affecting us for the next week to week and a half.
Lindsay, thanks. Hey, don't forget, you can be the first to know about today's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone. It's absolutely free of charge. You'll find it in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. A warning from doctors about medical tourism for weight loss surgery. A study published in BMJ Global Health says despite the rise in popularity of weight loss drugs, more Americans are traveling abroad for cheap bariatric and weight reduction surgery, and the industry is largely unregulated, which increases the risks for complications and even death. Still ahead, we have the highlights from last night's Major League All-Star game from Atlanta, plus highlights from the Nevada Griffins and Joplin Outlaws matchups from this evening. That's when we return.
If you've got the car, we've got the buyers. Nowhere else. Of Webster and Carlton.
On Tuesday, some of baseball's top stars from the American and National League battled in the 95th edition of the MLB All-Star Game at Truist Park in Atlanta, and it did not disappoint. The American League entering the night as winners in 10 of the last 11 All-Star Game matchups. Scoring would start early. Diamondbacks Ketel Marte giving the National League an early 2-0 lead with a two-run double. Shohei Ohtani, Ronald Acuna Jr. scoring on the play. The pitching would hold strong until the 6th inning with Met star Pete Alonso getting the crowd on their feet with a 3-run blast to the opposite field, making it 5-0. And the NL wasn't done there in the inning. Another Diamondback cornbread, Carroll brings the fireworks, clearing the wall for a solo round tripper of his own. Trailing 6-0 in the 7th, it was the American League's turn. It was former Kansas City Royal, current ace slugger Brent Rooker cutting the deficit in half with a 3-run homer to left center. Moving to the 9th, one-run game, and after scoring After hitting in his second RBI of the night, Royals Bobby Witt Jr. scores a game-tying run on this infield single from Stephen Kwan. Home run derby swing off. 3 players from each side gave 3 swings. Brett Rooker would start off with 2 home runs to give the AL an early lead. National League trailed by a pair of long balls. Phillies' Kyle Schwarber, you're seeing that Reggie Jackson-style finish, hitting not 1, not 2, but 3 moonshots. National League takes home the All-Star Game crown with a 7-6 tiebreaker win. Schwarber takes home the MVP trophy after his powerful performance in the swing-off. As the All-Star Game has come and gone, the highly anticipated trade deadline now takes center stage with the first domino falling this morning. The Royals are bringing back a familiar face for a second-half playoff push, acquiring Adam Frazier from the Pittsburgh Pirates for Cam Devaney. Frazier spent the 2024 season in Kansas City as part of the Royals team that made the first postseason appearance since 2015. This season, Frazier is hitting .255 in 78 games, with his average being higher than any other Royals bench bat that isn't named Freddie Fermin, and he'll look to provide a spark to the Kansas City lineup. The Nevada Griffins and Joplin Outlaws were back in action at home tonight as the summer baseball seasons continue across the 4 states. Starting in Nevada as the Griffins battle the St. Joe Mustangs in a doubleheader. Top of the first, it's the Mustangs drawing first blood with a deep drive by Darius Freeman for his second home run of the season. St. Joe takes a 1-0 lead. Home half of the fourth, Nevada would tie it up with this double to left center field gap from Bryce Humphrey, with Cole Collins coming in and scoring. But the Mustangs coming from behind to pick up a 5-3 win in Game 1. But the Griffins split the doubleheader with an 8-6 win in the nightcap. From Joe Becker Stadium, it's Game 2 of the Outlaws doubleheader against the Fort Smith Marshals. Bottom of the first, already leading 1-0. Mark Ross, the second, grounds one up the middle and into center field for an RBI single, scoring Andre Jackson, the second, to extend the lead. Later in the frame, Anthony Mazza ropes this one down the right field line. Ross would get to third and then score on a throwing error as Joplin plays 3 runs in the first innings. The Marshals stole Game 1 of the doubleheader 4-3, and Fort Smith leads in Game 2 4-3 in the 7th. Only 3 outs left for the Outlaws offense.
See if they can come back and win that. Now, some of you who saw us at 6 know that we have a new sports director. It is Ryan Blank, his first day on air with us. We're very glad to have you here, Ryan. I know you've been previously in North Dakota, sports director there as well.
Yes, sir. I'm super excited to be here. Originally from the Kansas City area in Overland Park, so being closer to home is always great. But I have a love of passion for sports, so being closer and being in a college town with Pitt State, I'm super excited.
College town in Pitt State, and of course Missouri Southern has the
yes.
Lions. A lot of fans for both teams. And I know that you are a Royals and Chiefs fan, and so you're welcome for that as well.
Yes, I'm super excited to be covering the teams I kind of grew up rooting for and supporting, so that's really fun for me.
It's good to have you aboard. Welcome, Ryan.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Employers are needing people to work.
Sears, a 4-state hero.
Well, thunderstorm chances do start around 3:30 to 4 a.m. in the 4 states. Not expecting super severe storms there in the morning, but we've got those storms continuing till mid-morning, and then a second round coming in the afternoon. Could be strong to low-grade severe all day. Keeping us a bit cooler on Thursday, but the heat returns for the weekend.
Lindsay, thanks. The oldest black-owned bookstore in Missouri has written its final chapter. But Lenita Brooks reports the store's legacy will live on through the help of a nonprofit media site.
Willis Books and Vinyl is the oldest black-owned bookstore in Missouri. That's right, in the entire state. But now owner Willa Robertson is ready to retire and start the next chapter. It was a final love letter to her customers and supporters.
All of these books, all this music, all this art, dedicated to you all.
Dozens of people came out to see Miss Willa Mae Robinson close this chapter, including Mayor Lucas.
We are each other's business.
Growing up in Arkansas, reading and music were always in her DNA, having a father who was an avid reader and promoted literature.
That was our life. That's why I am who I am now.
But it would be the loss of her daughter and granddaughter that left her with a void to fill.
I was trying to fill the fact that my children were gone. And I just collected books.
That's when she decided to do something with those books. In the 90s, she began selling them at festivals before opening a shop in 2007.
I didn't collect all these books for them to be covered up somewhere. I want people to enjoy the books.
As she prepares to turn a new page, she is passing the torch to the next generation.
we're going to be transforming it into an archive so people from the community can come in for free and look at these rare books. She has books from Frederick Douglass, first edition Frederick Douglass books.
The store's legacy will live on through the KC Defender, serving as a community hub and their new headquarters.
Being able to nourish that love of literature is something that I know is extremely important to Miss Willow. So I think just the blackness, the black joy, the safety that people feel being in this space.
Ms. Willis says she is now ready to write her next story, which will be her best story, though it is bittersweet.
I'm going to miss it.
In case you were wondering, the Kansas City Defender is a community organization and media platform preserving and promoting the love of literature in this case. Final sports note.
After acquiring Adam Frazier from the Pirates, it kind of looks like the Royals, they're going to be leaning towards being more buyers than sellers at the trade deadline. So the next couple weeks should be fun to see if they can add some more targets and who they could be targeting. From multiple reports, Texas Rangers slugging outfielder Adolis Garcia may be on the market. KC needs some more pop in that lineup, so it'll be interesting.
They're going to be in the wild card race down the stretch for sure. Thanks for joining us. Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.